How you doing? We back again, man. You know who it is, the voice of the coach, and I'm sitting here today. I'm gonna call her QJ, the queen of juices.
I like that.
You know what I mean? And I'm blessed to have this opportunity to sit with you today because I've been basically striving the past couple of months to really get into juicing. So to have the opportunity to sit with you and talk to somebody that's been fully, deeply dedicated, rooted, I'm blessed and I'm honored and we appreciate you and welcome to the round table.
Thank you.
And thanks for having me in your humble home. We're here at our location, as we always do. And we're going to just dive right in. First of all, let the culture know you and a little bit about you and where did it all start from.
So my name is Aquia Wilder. And I'm originally from Harlem, East Harlem, El Barrio. Went to school out there. I started off rich around culture. My family, rich culture. My father's a performer, dancer, stilts, and, festivals. And so I grew up.
Wow.
Yeah. I grew up around African drums. I grew up with rhythm. I grew up with music. I grew up with love.
Right.
And a lot of passion.
Right.
So just passion for life in general.
Right.
My mother, she used to dance with my father.
Okay.
She's a poet. She raps. She's really cool.
She's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and travels all over the world. So she learnlike about vegetarianism when she went to college.
Okay.
And I think that's what kind of cultivated this like health, world of health this lifestyle. So a lot of things I took from my mom.
Okay.
A lot of things I took from my mom. And my mom was diagnosed with cancer. Forget the year that it was, but it's been 10 years.
Okay.
And I think
she's still with us.
She's still with us.
Everybody knows she's still with us.
She's with us, and
she's live. I just met Mom Dukes. Shout out to Mom Dukes for allowing us in the building.
Right. She just got back from Thailand and Vietnam, and she's amazing. She's my role model. She's the reason why I do all of this.
Okay.
Because I want her to thrive, and I want my family to thrive.
Right.
So
and be healthy.
Right. So I am a mom. I have 3 kids. And 14, 7, and 4.
And they're all involved in this whole lifestyle.
Yes.
We talked about that, when we spoke to you, prior to sitting down with you. I told you I was very impressed with that.
Yeah.
Because I noticed, and not to put anybody down, I'm not getting on any parents out there. I love all of y'all. But I noticed some of us as parents, we may do the healthy thing, but we don't push it on our young children.
Right.
We just, we can go to McDonald's and he'll be okay. But I've noticed, I watched you pick, fruits and berries with the kids.
Yeah.
And they're a part of it. Like, it's not like, oh, Mom, why are we doing this?
Right.
Like, this is really something that you are educating them now at such a young age.
Yeah.
Was it difficult trying to get them into that? Or was it easier being at their babies?
The thing is when you start young,
they don't know no different.
They don't know any different.
Okay.
They don't want to know any different. When they start young, it's the mentality is deeply rooted.
Okay.
And anything different is kind of weird to them.
Okay.
Like my son, my 7-year-old especially, he asks if everything's, plant-based, if everything's, he'll ask you, is it vegan or, and I don't like to put terms and names on anything that I do. I just, say sun-fired foods, honestly, food from the earth, because I don't want to say that, we've never had meat before. We have.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for being honest.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people be, oh, nah, but then it's like, yo, what are you doing over there?
No. And I mean, there's been times where there was moments, the baby sometimes, like, Dad introduced him to fish and he liked it. So I'm not gonna go crazy about if he has it once in a blue moon. There's nothing that I could really, do to, stop that.
Right.
Or even encourage that he shouldn't. It's his decision.
Okay.
I feel like it's everybody's decision on what they want to do. And I kind of every year ask them, like, are you cool on that? Do you still want to? So
you're not forcing them?
I'm not forcing them. I'm not forcing them at all. But what I find is that since I am the role model, they're following me. So I really don't have any trouble with them.
Right.
You know, they're not going to the store looking for certain things, you know. They're not.
Right.
Yeah.
The only reason why I asked was you forcing them because I remember when we were kids growing up.
Mm-hmm.
My mom I couldn't get off the table unless I ate eggs.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't eat the eggs. So I set the table for you. And then my mom realized he's really not going to eat eggs.
Right.
And I really despise eggs to this day. I don't even want to be around it. I don't want to eat out the pot.
Yeah.
But that's just something. So when I said force, sometimes you're going to, and when I feel like this, when you don't force them, it comes a little bit easier. They gradually just.
Yeah.
But what about them, when they around their friends or maybe that's going to McDonald's in these different locations?
Right.
How does that work out? Or when they're with their father?
Yeah. So
is he on the same journey?
He's on the same journey. He's on the same wavelength. He's absolutely amazing.
Okay.
The food that he cooks for them is 100% vegan. He's not gonna steer them wrong.
Okay.
Dad he's big pots of soups and
right. So he's engaged too. So he's seeing both.
I helped him get to that point, and he's now taking it over and doing his own thing, and he looks amazing. So
that's fire. I respect that.
Yeah, so I'm proud
village.
of him because he used to be White Castles at night type of.
I mean, sometimes we don't know. We only know what we grew up in.
Yeah. But I think he yearned for that, journey. So it's nice to come around people and actually be able to light that fire and ignite it. Yeah. So
I feel like you are motivating a lot of people.
I love to hear that.
Nah, seriously, because honestly, I started following the page and I noticed that y'all were fasting. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
And the notifications, I was getting a little tired of being in the group chat.
I know.
Not gonna lie, I'm like, I'm looking, I'm like, good, but it let me know that many people is involved.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We laugh about it, but the reality of it all is a blessing to see the culture really thriving in because we thrive in with so many other things as far as fashion and how we're supposed to look. But this is something to let us have a life.
Right.
A healthy life. And we can pass on the generation and live long and live healthy and live free. Right. Now, I want to touch bases on the fact that when did you really, growing up, I want to go down a little memory lane. Growing up with moms, she, traveling, pops doing what he doing. It was day one or it was gradually steps into the vegan world?
So for me, like I said, we started off vegetarian. Then we started off vegetarian.
You started from the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mom had us fully vegetarian. Like we couldn't. It was Brussels sprouts and okra at the table.
And what year is this?
And this was the 80s and 90s.
So how was that growing up in Harlem around other individuals back then? Not too many families are really doing this.
No, I call us that we were the Addams family because we were celebrating Kwanzaa. Like, I mean, we were, wearing dashikis.
Right, before everybody made it into a style.
Yeah, like my hair is 100% natural. I usually rock, my afros, and I've been that way. I've never, experienced anything else. I used to walk around with an afro when it just wasn't popular, and I had people telling me, comb your hair, or, you should straighten your hair. It would look really pretty, but I enjoyed being me. I enjoyed being natural. So in a sense, anything that was unnatural kind of felt weird to me.
Okay.
Perfumes, certain lotions. I was more into shea butter. I was more into, the oils.
Right.
Just naturally.
Especially in Harlem.
Yeah. So 125th. So I'm out there and you see the guys lined up with all their stuff. That's where I'm at. I'm buying everything. I'm buying Christmas gifts. I'm buying, from the culture.
Right.
I never felt compelled to shop brands or,
never was compelled to say, hey, let me go to Jimbo's.
Nah.
I respect it. I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Because, you're young,
Right.
Influences and things of that nature. Like
Kennedy Fried Chicken. I think I went in there maybe like once or twice in my whole life. And I was like, it don't feel right to me. And so I started instantly going to my friends, like, cause we would go, you know how you go, we in Harlem, you getting the French fries with the hot sauce and the ketchup all over it, the little cutlet,
and
little
chicken spots.
Yeah, so I mean, that was the meal, and everybody had these really greasy plates. And if you ask any of my friends to this day, they'll be like, nah, Clea, she never really messed with that stuff.
Wow.
You know,
stayed disciplined.
Yeah, it just felt weird to me. I'll be honest, like it just didn't feel right to me, and I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why it felt weird to me. You know, so I think just because my mom kind of kept us. She cooked, and I mean the okra was a little slimy, and like we ain't really like the Brussels sprout now. You know, we got it together,
right?
You know, but back then we really didn't know how to prepare things.
Okay,
we really didn't know how to prepare things, and that's part of the problem. Is we're afraid of what we don't know, and so we have to challenge ourselves and get out there in the supermarkets and look at all of these, you know, fruits and vegetables that we pass by. We don't even go to that section sometimes.
Right.
You know, so
I don't even go down and shop. Right.
Yeah, so that's the thing. My mom would bring us, and we would physically pick up and put the, you know, vegetables, the produce inside of the bags. And, you know, that's where we started. When we came in the supermarket, we started there. We weren't going in the sections. Those are products. That wasn't whole foods. So that's the, you know what I mean? That's like these are products. So I study food science, right? Nutrition and food science. And those are products. Those are things that are derived from whole foods, but they're processed, they're engineered. Okay. So that's always in my mind. Right. Also, when I think about how we're treated, there were certain stores I didn't walk into because I didn't appreciate walking in, and I didn't get a greeting or a thank you or a conversation like I'm a human being.
Right.
So if I go into a place and I see that I'm not being treated, you know, like you want my money, right, then I'm not going in there either. Right. Okay. And that's just in general. Okay. So, but we did eat chicken and fish. You know, I was a huge fan of fried fish. My mom makes the best fried fish ever. Right. She is not vegan, but she did fast with us for 2 weeks. This is her 3rd week, and she's like, I think she's amazing, and she's pre-diabetic, and her numbers are low. She dropped weight. She dropped inches.
And she's not doing this off no medication.
No. Okay. So yeah. So you know,
this is just all eating.
This is all eating.
Wow.
Yeah, this is all eating. Yeah.
That's fire. Now, how was it for you when you went to your girlfriend's house and you couldn't get moms, or you was out on a date with a guy?
So when I was younger, and I started dating, at that time, I was eating a little bit of meat. Just not a lot, but I was eating a little bit of meat. Like I said, chicken and fish was the most. Okay. But still, my selections were always going to be salads, vegetables. It was always going to be more of a, you know, the 3/4 of the plate is going to be plants. Right, plants. We're not going to just smother it with this, that, and right. No matter where I went, no matter who I was with, it really didn't matter. But I did start eating there was a point where I started eating a little bit of meat, and I would say that was around 2009. And my daughter was a little bit before my daughter was born. Okay. And during that time, I started getting sick. I started just not feeling my best. Yourself, you know your body. Yeah, and not making the best decisions, you know, acting erratically, like, you know, and just not being the person that I know that I am and that my mother raised, and, you know, just kind of like moody and down, confidence level going down. You know, think that was from you eating things 100%. That you wasn't? 100%. So that does play a big part. Let me tell you something. I love studying the body, and I love, you know, just the chemical analysis of the body. Right. And when you start to understand the endocrine system and the hormones and not getting enough rest and not, you know, and how it plays in the production of certain hormones that we need to be balanced. That's one of the reasons why people have bipolar disorder. That's one of the reasons why people are just moody and have depression. From the intake of the food? from the lack of nutrients.
Okay.
So if we're constantly eating things that are fried, we're constantly eating things that are adding more unneeded cholesterol to our bodies, right? Because our bodies produce its own cholesterol.
Okay.
If we're consuming all the cholesterol from an animal, we're taking on all the traits and all the, characteristics and the trauma of an animal, and we're continuously eating it, we're adapting those behaviors and we're adapting those genetics. We're adapting that into our own bodies, and it's becoming who we are.
Wow, I never really looked at it like that at that point of view.
And I mean, everybody has their opinions on, what they think, or but if you are what you eat.
That's a fact. That's a
you
fact.
are what you eat. If I'm eating greasy foods every day, I'm gonna have a shine on my skin, but it's not gonna be like that glow. It's gonna be greasy and the sebum oil and the follicles is clogged. So the stuff is trying to come out. You know what I mean? That's why we have those pustules and the whiteheads and things like that, because the body is actually trying to protect itself. So that inflammation happens.
It's fighting.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow, that's something that we need to all hear, especially in the Black community, because we eat filthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here in front of the camera. In front, I would have steak, chicken, shrimp, all on one plate with rice, with gravy. And I just realized, after a while, I think for me, my transformations when I started riding a bike, just around McKay Park for maybe a summer, and I saw I said, wow.
Yeah.
And I really started saying, hey, then the blood pressure situation, and then going to the doctor, and, them forcing the medication on me.
Right.
Like shoving it down my throat.
Yeah.
Even when I caught vertigo one time. Never experienced it, didn't know what it was. He was like, yo, it's gonna happen. You should take the vertigo medicine. I'm like, yo, what? And I actually Googled it because my partner she's a Googleologist. So she's like, yo, everything is Google.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not nothing that you need medication for. This is kind of just what you your body, your intake.
Yeah.
But I want to ask about the juices.
Yeah.
What is the difference in juicing the food and eating it whole?
Okay, so when you are eating anything, it's a process. Okay, so we're breaking down. Digestion starts in the mouth. So as soon as something goes inside your mouth, your teeth and your salivary glands have to put out these enzymes to break down the food, right?
Okay.
As opposed to you drinking it, and the food is going to be absorbed within the body within 15 minutes. Okay, so when you're consuming the food and you're physically...
It takes longer to process.
Right, it takes longer to process.
That's what I was told, but I wanted to ask you because I want to hear your opinion. Truthfully, because I like to hear different opinions.
Yeah. So that's the thing. You can absorb the nutrients better. And I mean, think about somebody who is sick. Your body wants to detox. You stop eating sometimes when you don't feel good because your body wants to release. So that's a good time to fill it with as much nutrients as you can by drinking, teas, herbal teas and juices, liquid fast, pretty much.
Okay.
When you eat anything, your body takes a long time to process it.
Exactly, it does.
And so that's work. So if you have things like high blood pressure, or you have things that, where your heart has to work even harder. Yeah. Your organs is going into overdrive. So what we do when we're fasting is we're giving our body a rest and a chance to rejuvenate those cells that have been damaged. Things like your spleen backed up. You know what I'm saying? It's overworked. Fried foods, if you eat it every day, it takes over 24 hours to process some meat, some food. Some stuff stays inside of your small intestines forever. Because your small intestines doesn't matter, it's long. Your small intestines is like 25 to 30 feet, long, right? So those folds that are in there is something called villi, right? And then you have the microvilli. If you're constantly eating foods that are fried or constantly eating foods and you have maybe like a gluten intolerance, okay, that's where you can create celiac disease. The small intestines is where the nutrients go inside and that's where they're broken down and processed and sent back out. But if it can't go through, it's not permeable if it can't get through and all the villi is burnt out and the whole villi is damaged. You know what I'm saying? People have things like diverticulitis.
Lord
You know,
mercy, you name the names. Be a lot of Googling going on after this one. But hey, that's good. That's what we need, the education. That's why I'm sitting with you, for the education.
Yeah. So the thing is we want our organs to be refreshed. We want our organs to be renewed. We want a chance. We're made up of trillions of cells. And when I look at you, I always love this. I heard this from one of my professors, and she was vegan, and she kind of motivated me. She said, when I look at you, I don't see your color. I see trillions of cells. That's what we are made up of.
Right, we are.
So every time we eat or breathe in something that's toxic, or put, lotions and dyes in our hair, or smoke and burn the villi in our esophagus, things like that, we're everything is seeping into us. Everything. Our skin is the largest organ. So everything is already against us because it's toxic, toxicity in the air. It's pollution in the air. And then we combine it with the food and,
the alcohol,
and the alcohol.
And the
so what about our kidneys? What about the nephrons in our kidneys that we're born with? We're killing them. By the time we get a certain age, we have to end up having to go to dialysis because we've killed those millions of nephrons that are inside our kidneys.
Wow, that's deep. But people sometimes, listening to you talk, and I've spoken to other people in the past, and it's funny how everybody has a different theory, but the same answer. So it's like riding down the highway. You may take I-95, you may take 85, you may take 45, but we still going to get to Florida.
Right.
And that's the thing that makes it unique. I want to ask you something that I've been thinking about. Do you feel like you guys just fasted? Do you, and I'm speaking on somebody, my father, actually, he just fasted for 28 days. He's a very spiritual guy at 80 plus years of age. I ain't gonna throw his age.
That's amazing.
And for him, he was like, yo, I've been fasting for like 28 days. And he's like, yo, my spirit is so in tune. Do you feel like fasting is also a spiritual thing too as well?
Most definitely.
Because someone told me, oh, fasting, some people fast just to be fasting. But I feel my father has always said when after he finished fasting, his spirit is so, like, it's like, yo, I feel like I'm just this, but I'm spiritually. It's not even just so much the physical. It's like, yo, I'm more in tune with certain things that I wasn't in tune with when I wasn't fasting.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand that. So you someone that fast, that's why I asked you.
Yeah.
Do you get more in tune after the fast?
So I fast.
You've been fasting for years.
Even as a youngster, I felt like my body needed a break sometimes. So I would do intermittent fasting.
What is it? Let me
so if I have a 16-hour window and an 8-hour window, I'm sleeping for 16. I'm waking up at maybe 8 o'clock. I don't wake up at 8 o'clock. I wake up at 5 o'clock.
Right. We just.
But but you have a window where you eat and a window where you rest. Okay, so I want my window to be, I start eating at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And then I stop eating at like 6, 7 o'clock. I'm fasting all throughout the rest of that time. So I'm not consuming any food. And then when I do eat, what I'm eating is going to be raw. Or what I'm eating is going to be,
raw what?
Raw fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
So nothing cooked.
So everybody understand when you said raw.
Yeah. So anything under 118 degrees. So if I use my Vitamix and I want like to make a soup or something, I'm just kind of warm it up in the Vitamix, but I'm not going to heat it to a point where it's cooked and it's going to denature or. I started doing intermittent fasting and taking a break because I used to have IBS. So, irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay.
A lot of it was stress. A lot of it was dealing with the wrong people in my life and
energies.
And that's where my biggest, I think, sickness came from, was dealing with people that weren't suited for me, weren't made for me, and couldn't understand me as a human being. And that's when I realized I needed to change my life and my lifestyle. And, what resonated with me during fasting was I needed to change, like, myself and not worry or blame anybody else for anything. I needed to focus on me inside. And
this came about just from you fasting.
That came about from me fasting. My mom used to see Queen Afua back in the day and,
Right.
rock with her and do her retreats and stuff like that. And I have all those books, Laylo Africa and Dr. Sebi and Irrational Fasting, Arnold Ehret. I've read all those books, still reading.
Are the kids fast?
If I do a fast with them, would be like smoothies or raw foods.
Okay.
I don't believe in kids fasting because they need to produce that growth hormone.
Okay.
Okay, they need that GH. So I don't recommend children to fast that in that capacity because when I fast, I'm fasting with no food. I'm just either juicing or doing water, and then I take a break and do raw fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
But I definitely know and feel that every single time that I fast, there is a spiritual awakening that happens.
Oh, okay.
There is more peace. There
That's what
is
he said too.
a point where you're like, I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to
Indulge in anything that's not.
No, I don't want to bring.
free,
I don't want to
loving.
change my vibration.
Right,
I don't want, and I don't. Everybody thinks I'm this like, natural, and I'm like, no. I'm crazy too. Like I'm wild and fun. I
Right.
like to party with my friends and my
Right,
family.
you're human.
I'm so
I just choose a
human,
different
and
lifestyle.
But yeah, and everybody around me has accepted that. Everybody
that's
around
great.
me,
And
yeah.
they respect it, and they also
do.
respect it.
Yeah, I've never, people come around me with smoking weed or doing, what they do. That's what you do. It's not for me. It's not my life, and that's cool. I'm fine with whatever.
But you're also
other
not
people...
one with the hammer, just trying to beating them in the
No,
head. You may gradually say, "Hey."
It depends on who it is.
Because you know the people that's around you.
Right. It depends on who it is. Most of my friends that come around me go, I know you don't do that, so I'm not going to do that. Or they, they want to be.
They want to know what you're doing.
They want to know what I'm doing.
They want to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's great that people can accept that and respect that and be a part of that because sometimes, we get so caught up in wanting to be accepted.
Yeah.
We don't want to be ourselves. We want to be accepted.
I was always weird to people.
Well, really, you wasn't weird. You were just doing, weird. Weird is cool, though.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, weird is cool. You've realized that, I'm not really weird. I'm a leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then you start to gravitate. People say, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I want to try that weird stuff that you're doing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's a great thing. It's funny you talked about, you noticed that the people around you were draining you. I was having a conversation with a young brother the other day, a young friend of mine. And I was like, how do you entertain all these people? Like you bringing all this energy into yourself.
Yeah.
Like you on the phone, this one, that one. This is just like, it's so much going on. I'm like, how? You really taking everybody's energy and bringing it into you. Absolutely. And then on top of that, you're not eating healthy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So all these things play a factor.
Yeah.
So it's funny that I sit here with you and you're saying the exact same thing. Like, people just drain you.
Mm-hmm.
So what about when you're fasting and you're going through difficult times as far as just lifing? You're fasting, you're lifing, and you got these moments where stress may come and hit. I mean, we all human, things hit. We got kids in school. You know what I mean? So how does that play into the fasting? Like, can we talk about, explain that a little bit? Because I'm just curious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you've been fasting for a long time, you learn how to manage stress.
Okay.
You learn how to, like I said, I have 3 kids, and it's really not the kids. It's what we already have going on in our lives that makes it stressful.
Okay.
It's not them. Like, they're great kids, they get frustrated, they get, grumpy or whatever.
They do what they do.
Yeah,
they're kids,
yeah. But
right.
You ask them, they're usually hungry, tired, or need a hug,
right.
And that's it. You got to ask them what it is that they need, and that's it. So there's no need to scream or get mad at your kids when they're being kids.
You're balancing being a mother, you're balancing fasting, you're balancing eating healthy.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say balancing because right now this is your lifestyle.
That's so not a problem for me.
Right.
Like,
so you're doing, but also your life stress hits you.
Right.
Why you fast? Sometimes us You know, I'm gonna use myself. Oh, I'm a little stressed out. Let me smoke something.
Right.
What do you turn to? Okay, some people pick up the Bible. Some people pick up the Word. Some
Right.
people read. Everybody has their own. I read sometimes.
Yes.
I pick up the Bible, so it's not just let me run to the bottle to that. But you know, you understand what I'm saying? I'm using examples when you're fasting, so it's no intake. Does that make the body weaker?
Not when the mind is strong.
Okay.
So it's the thing about fasting is it's a journey. And the first time you do it is not going to be easy. The second time you do it's not.
That's
So
what I haven't tried.
every single time that you do it, your cells are a computer, right? Your body is a computer. When it realizes that you stop eating it again, then it goes, oh, yeah, like you're trying to tell me something again. You're doing this thing where you're giving your body a chance to, you know, rejuvenate and replenish itself and heal.
Right.
You're healing every time you fast. So when I get frustrated or I breathe. I do alternate breathing. I do a method called 4-7-8.
You do yoga?
I just started doing yoga. I have a thing with yoga because it makes me very emotional. And I actually did yoga with an amazing woman named Jen, the Spiritual Baddie. She's on IG as, you know, Jennifer. And at the end, my body gave in. You know, gave in. And it was an emotional, and it was trauma from past. That just came up out of me. Yeah, I couldn't get off the floor for about maybe 15 minutes after the class.
Wow.
I couldn't, you know, and everything I do with my mom or my kids. So my mom was there and she just was, you know, rubbing on me and, you know, and I had a spiritual moment and it was good. It felt good to get it out. It felt good to release. You know, I've experienced a lot. So for me, you know, things like that are great additions, meditation. Sit there and just, it doesn't matter how you lay. I know everybody has their positions of how they're supposed to be. But if you just stop and you stop thinking and you teach yourself.
People don't understand how to just shut it down.
But it takes time. That's the thing. There's no mastering. It's just a process. There's no mastering. You just keep doing it until every time you realize you're going to get better. Do it for 5 more minutes. The first time I did it for 10 minutes. Then I did it for 15. Then I did it for 20. My favorite thing to do as an exercise science, you know, that's what I studied when I first started, is working out. I love working out. I love lifting weights. And I'm not lifting to be buff. I'm lifting because it feels good. I'm lifting because every time I lift, I know I'm giving my cells oxygen, you know, and helping. You know, I used to have anemia. Okay. And I had anemia when I ate meat. So for all the people that are like, oh, well, that's because you don't eat meat. No, I had it when I ate meat.
Right.
Bad, you know.
So let's save the drama on that.
Right. And I'm not deficient in B12. My vitamin D is low right now, but it's not terrible, you know. And it's just, you know, we're not in the sun, you know. Normally I'm outside laying in the grass, hugging trees and walking, digging my toes and to get some electrons, to get some life in me. You got to get life in you. You know what I'm saying? Because the earth, we are made from the earth.
I understand that, but putting it,
dig it. I mean, we have, like, you know, we have the garden in the back. Yeah. We digging our hands in the soil. You know, when you connect yourself to the earth, you don't see things the same. You don't see people the same. I don't hold anything against anybody in my life that's done anything to me, for me, to hurt me or anything. I don't hold it. I've let go of everything because I'm on this journey of healing myself and healing, you know, whatever it is that they might think or might feel, you know what I'm saying? I can't hold that into my heart. I can't worry about it, you know, and the people that have been coming around me recently are amazing people. And all I could think to myself is what I'm attracting.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
I feel like I'm winning. You know,
are.
I feel like
you are, because the amount of people that I see, and this is just from, like I said, just from the group chat.
Yeah.
The response, the way it's just constantly, and everybody's, I noticed everybody was excited.
Yeah.
That's what kind of kept me.
Yeah.
When I said, well, yeah, I'm gonna stay in it.
I appreciate that.
You know what I mean? Because everybody was
Yeah.
exciting, and sometimes we get so much BS on our phones.
Right.
You're not getting that neck. You're not getting that love, that
Yeah.
motivation. So you know what? I'm a very spiritual person, so I believe certain things you should just keep in tune.
Yeah.
So I say, you know what? I don't know. I may not know about one person in this group,
Yeah.
but the energy coming from the group
Yeah.
is allowing me coming through my phone because I
Yeah.
believe certain things is just it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about this fast you got everybody doing.
So that was it's on my cup.
Let's talk about
So
it.
this was the Juice Fast January 2024.
How many years you been doing it with this group?
This was
I'm quite sure everybody is different people every year.
Yeah, so this was my largest group. It started off as, because I had people off and on that were doing this. Not everybody's on Instagram and social media. So I had about 25 people doing it, which was cool. It dwindled, it always does, and that's cool. But the responses that I get from people who have come back, they come back because they've seen the results.
I saw that.
You know, you've seen how long the chat it goes. This was my third time doing it.
And everybody sharing their different things with each other.
Right.
Had me watching, kind of tapped in one night. Eyes and kind of like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting because people are talking about enemas, stuff that, people don't really want to talk about. People are like, listen, I had to stay close to the toilet.
Right,
you know,
they were.
For me, I'm a singer, I travel, I'm fasting while I'm performing. You know what I'm saying? And even my band, my group, K Brown Express and the Wedding Crashers, they know like, oh, she's fasting now, or she's, so they make jokes, but they respect it, the group is for them, it's created for them, but it's for me.
What made you start the group? What made you say, I'm gonna reach out and try to get other individuals, strive to get other individuals involved?
I think everybody comes to me and they say, what are you doing? Why do you look like you're reversing in age? And that's kind of like, instead of people asking me a million questions all over the place, I'm like, well, let me just put together this group. I act on impulse, everything I do. Like even when I went back to school, I'm like, I just walked in the door and was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this now,
Right.
Everything is impulse. I had a health fair event 2 or 3 years ago now. Time goes by fast. In the yard, and it was awesome. It rained, it was cold, people still came, my vendors made money, and from then on, when I started speaking and I realized people were listening, I said, dang, I need to keep doing this because it felt so good. It just felt right. It felt like I needed to do it. It felt like I was needed.
You are.
I appreciate it.
When I first spoke to you, I started picking your brain. I did, what I mean? I was picking like, yo, what about this? What about? He was like, nah, don't do this. So it's, it's a blessing to have that. You know what I mean? Because everybody else, I'm not gonna say everybody, but everybody's not really educated enough to extend their hand. And so some people are, but we adults. You can know when somebody's just doing some bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
I mean,
certain conversations, knock it off.
Right. You gotta, the thing about me is I'm not talking about it, I'm living it and I'm learning. And I tell people that in the process. I'm like, look, if I don't know something, I'm not gonna just create some answer for you. I said, because the thing is about our bodies is everybody is not the same. We are not the same.
No shape, form, or fashion.
No. We have the same components, but we are very uniquely made. So I can't tell you what worked for me. I had an emergency C-section and 2 VBACs. A lot of women come to me about pregnancy and giving birth and breastfeeding. I breastfed for 4 years. My son kind of just stopped, kind of. So there's a lot of questions that people have about hormones and it's so much that people come to me about, and that's kind of why I created the page. I was like, well, dang, if they want to hear about it, let me just post what I do every day. And it's hard. It is not easy because sometimes I don't feel like it. I don't feel like posting every day. I don't feel like telling everybody what I'm eating or what I'm drinking. But dang, everybody's so inspired.
The weird person becomes the leader.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I also noticed you talk about eating from the earth.
Yeah.
Let's talk about eating from the earth. And you got the kids involved eating from the earth.
Yeah, I'm really proud about that. You know, my daughter, like you brought up before, when they're around their friends, it doesn't matter. You know, my 14-year-old, she was raw vegan with me actually years ago when she was little, 4 or 5 years old, walking around talking about, I don't eat that, you know, and it might have annoyed some people, but
You gotta respect
14 and she still won't eat meat. Takis and all of that stuff with dye and all those cancer-causing carcinogen foods that we give our kids and they have in the morning and the
morning, evening, noon, night, Saturday, Friday, Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a special occasion.
Oh, it's a party, so we can eat this stuff. Absolutely not. Why? It's poison.
You know what? I think all of us, not just kids, I think we're all in. I used to say that. Well, it's the weekend. I can cheat.
Of course.
Really, you know what I mean? Cheating comes from Saturday to Sunday to Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get back to it on Friday.
Yeah, well, there's something, you know, you have the ghrelin, you have the leptin. So your body is asking for this. The body is like, you know, I want this. I want more of this. And then you got, sometimes your receptors are not saying stop.
Right.
And when you feed your body those sugars, processed sugars, then it wants more of it. It's a drug. So it wants more. So it's in your stomach and it goes, give me some. The microbiome says, I want more of that. Let's create more of that. So that's why we have the cravings, right? But the sugar comes in our blood and practically crystallizes and damages the brain. And that's the stuff that creates stuff, conditions like Alzheimer's and then we have diabetes. If your insulin levels aren't acting right and you're not producing enough insulin and that sugar is staying inside of your blood, it's not going inside the cells. It's not, the insulin ain't waking up the cells and going, let me take you in here and use you for ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, which is giving your body energy.
Right.
Okay, so it's not going to do that.
So eating the food from the earth,
right,
changes all of that,
right?
Because it's nothing. It's all basically it's fresh,
right?
So you do a lot of planting. Then I know you do a lot of planting.
Yeah, my mom does. She does amazing. I can't take a lot of credit, but the first year that we started growing, I mean, we had zucchinis and we had eggplant and we had cucumbers and she grows pumpkins like crazy. That's like the biggest thing that grows is the pumpkins, tomatoes and peppers and collard greens.
Because my parents were big on those things in the garden.
Yeah. So, and this year we got to make sure the soil is good. So right now is the time to actually go in there and make sure that the soil has enough nitrogen, has enough, is just oxygenated and it's good for us to begin planting for the spring. So you start everything kind of like now.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm purchasing, when I go to the store, I try to buy organic as much as possible. Somebody actually sent me a message and they said, and I told them that I would address it. And they talked about if eating the way that I eat is accessible to our community. And I believe that it is.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because when we look at what we spend on material things or miscellaneous things, and we look at the money that we waste, not even knowing that we paying for iTunes and Spotify and all these other things that are, just accumulating,
unnecessary shit.
Right. Or even the clothes. No, you're good. Even the clothes that we're buying, like, what are we focused on?
Focused on a look, an image.
Yeah.
And not, it's like perfect saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Mm-hmm. You look good, but your insides is rotten. Yeah. You're dying, you're dead. The person walking dead just with a canvas.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I wanted to ask you, why is it that the healthy food is so damn expensive? But now everything's expensive.
The healthy food is expensive because people aren't buying it. There's 1% of organic farmland in America. 1%.
Wow.
Animal agriculture, what it costs to feed these animals that we slaughtered, that to consume for us to eat, is out of control. That's why carbon emissions is ridiculous. It's the highest number is the slaughtering of animals. What it takes to kill the animals for us to be able to consume and have the bacon and all that stuff that we love so much. You know what I'm saying?
But it's so basically you're saying, and this is just, I'm asking your point of view, it's really put here to kill us. Because they shooting these animals up.
The farmers that are working.
It's a business. It's a corporation. It's $1 billion business. It's not like it was in the South where my parents came from.
When it was small and
it was intimate.
Yeah.
And it was help. I'm not saying that they didn't raise bad animals,
right?
Because they didn't have the stuff they needed to take care of the animals. But it was more. It wasn't as abundantly.
No, it was small. Now we have these CAFOs, which are the concentrated animal organizations, right? And it's thousands of animals on top of each other. And when we think about that, there's so many animals that are sick and have cancer in them.
Right.
And then they're next to the other ones. So everybody starts getting it. And these farmers are sick. The farmers are sick because they're breathing and inhaling everything that, the certain drugs or hormones that the animals are receiving and the antibiotics that they're receiving.
Wow.
So we're consuming those antibiotics. We wonder why our little girls look the way that they look. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, my daughter is tall and slim. She's, you know what I'm saying? But, we wonder why our girls are having things like fibroids.
The girls is looking like they're old, like
that's hormone.
Yeah.
That's hormone. That's animal antibiotics.
When I growing up, they wasn't as, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a 15-year-old. I'm like, wow, you're developing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back, you really developed. So you got a little bit up there. Now you go to these schools, these kids are looking like.
Yeah, they bigger than me. I mean, I look like I'm, you know what I mean, compared to some of these girls out here. Right. And, and the image that we have for our young girls and our Nubian queens and kings,
right?
Is a jaded perception because we treat them older. We treat them like they're grown and they're just babies.
I mean, that comes from going back to what we talked about in the beginning. Oh, I'm gonna give you McDonald's today because I want you to be quiet.
Yeah.
Or the grandfather picks up the kid or the grandkid. I'm a grandfather, me being a grandfather. Oh, Jordy wants McDonald's. I'm going to take her to go McDonald's and that's going to keep her quiet and that's going to keep her content.
It's easy. It's convenience.
It's the back door way out.
It's convenience. And I understand convenience. There's time I use cans because sometimes I don't have the time. Is it great to use cans? Not all the time. No.
But I feel like you got enough balance where you know what I mean? Your balance level is different than the average balance because it's like, okay, we had such of a big gap. If we do it, it's like you tell somebody yes, but 1 time or 5 times I told them no. Yeah. You shouldn't be mad. I done told you yes 100 times. I told you no 5 times. It's not going to kill us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let me ask you this, and I really want to, this is something that's been on my mind the whole time. Mm-hmm. What about if the kids did decide to eat meat full time? How would you feel about that?
The most important part of their life that is going to carry them for the rest of their life is that time, infancy, when their digestion is being processed and it's complete. Usually by like 7, a lot of kids are starting to develop diabetes by like 6 or 7 now, right? Okay. So I feel like I'm doing and I've done my part in introducing their bodies to what it needs, you know what I'm saying, and regulated their bodies. So the one thing about starting off eating healthy is that kind of gives them a little bit of a like leeway, kind of, gives them a fighting chance.
Right. Because if they really do indulge into something, their body may fight it off. Yeah. And say, hell, nah, what are you doing? Why are you putting that inside of me at this point? We've been doing this the whole time.
Well, the thing is too, like, they rarely get sick, and they enjoy that. They're around their friends a lot, and everybody's sick, everybody's coughing, everybody's sneezing.
Look what the intake of what's being given.
Right. So, I think that when you instill this early, it just gives them a fighting chance. And it does, genetically, I've changed the way that our bodies are, you know what I mean? This is me breaking the cycle, if anything. You know what I'm saying? My mom started, and now I took it even further.
Right.
So I think that it's going to allow them to, you know, not really deal with stuff like diabetes, which, you know, diabetes, hypertension, all that stuff was in my family. So hopefully, because of what I've done with them early on, they won't have those problems, conditions.
And the reason why I really asked you that was because you told me at one point, you know, before we started this, we talked about, you know, at one point you was in a relationship and you went to eating meat.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Do you feel like sometimes if the other person, just for those that's in that situation, that do you feel like it's a negative influence, or would you feel like maybe I don't want to be bothered with him because he doesn't understand my lifestyle? Like, I'm curious to know that. I'm picking your brain a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
But I want to give the culture, because it could be somebody out there battling with that. You know, he's not a vegetarian or she's not a vegetarian, but I want to, you know, it's like being a Christian and a Muslim in a household.
Right.
You still study, you still worshiping God.
Right. Honestly, it really depends on the person.
Okay.
A lot of people feel like if you consume meat and I don't consume meat, that it can interfere, that energy could interfere. And maybe it could, maybe not. I just felt like it was too much for me.
Okay.
There's got to be
Some
greens
balance
on the plate. Big balance. Big balance. Like you can't have steak. You can't have meat 3 times a day. You can't wake up and think sausage, bacon, eggs, and then lunch, you know, roasted chicken, whatever, you know, and then dinner, rotisserie, I don't know, just whatever. You know what I'm saying? 3 times a day, every day, when that doesn't even break down in your system. So when do you give your body a chance? When do you honestly think that the food is being broken down?
Wow. You sound like you just, I'm going to say this really, I'm going to be honest. You just sound like me, what I used to be like. Because I wasn't a breakfast person.
Right.
So I'm eating burgers and leftovers in the morning for my breakfast because I never liked breakfast.
I get it.
And then later on, I'm eating more meat. And then later on, like 3 in the morning, like, because I used to work nights. That's when I really hit me hard.
That's where it gets hard, though. I worked the overnight job,
So I'm frying chicken coming home at 3 in the morning. And I'm drinking a Turkey Hill. And I'm eating chips all day. And I'm 4 or 5 o'clock going to Denny's out of town. And I'm eating, you know, fries and then dipping it in hot sauce at 3, 4 in the morning. Then I'm going to sleep on it. Then I'm waking up to it because I've been sleeping. Now I want to eat again.
Yeah.
Somebody told me if you brush your teeth, that takes away the hunger.
Does it work for you?
I really haven't tried it, but I notice now with me doing what I'm doing, like I'm juicing now during the day. And my only temptation is when I take the young man that I work with, I take him to eat sometimes. And he wants to go to Burger King or pizza. But I just kind of stay away from it. But I find myself not as hungry anymore. Because I'm juicing, but I'm eating fruits. I might have apple, grapes.
Right.
So maybe when I get off work after 5, but my body's like, okay, it's time to eat. But I'm eating food that I'm preparing myself.
Yeah, but that's the key too. Listen, if we're eating at Applebee's, Fridays, Olive Garden, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, somebody else is regulating your sugar and your sodium levels for you. We don't know what's in that. We don't even know what type of meat it is. You know what I mean?
But it's just a taste that our body and our minds, I got a taste for.
It's programmed for.
I got a taste for. I got a taste for.
And
I'm in the
when
mood
we
for
watch TV, that's one thing that I don't really do at all. I'll watch a movie every now and then with the kids and stuff, but I also don't do that because that's another form of programming. And we watch those commercials. And commercials look real good. Like you can almost smell the taste of the food. You know what I'm saying? Right. When you watch that and it makes you go, okay, I need that. I want that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Everything you just said was great because you feel it in your body. Like, damn, I'm doing too much. And then it just takes those steps where I'm going to go grab me an apple instead. So when we make these conscious decisions and you start juicing, you'll continue to think that way if you keep doing it. I always tell people 1 juice a day. That's what Wilder Juices is about. My goal is you get sick of me because you'll see one juice a day. And once you start doing that, you'll be like, dang, you know what? I'm not as hungry. You just said it. You started juicing and you're not as hungry because your body is getting, it's something called nutrient dense. And when your body is getting the nutrients that it needs from whatever whole food it has, your hunger starts being suppressed. If you're taking things like sea moss, your hunger is going to be suppressed. Your body has the nutrients that it needs to satisfy it.
Wow. I've been experiencing that.
Yeah.
My only problem is the weekend.
But the weekend, it's like,
because I'm not as busy as I would be on a weekday as far as going to work, doing this. I'm kind of like, I'm still a little busy, but I'm not as busy where I can, you know what I mean? But like I said, I started out with the smoothies, and then a young lady told me exactly what you said. She was like, the smoothies is cool, but it's taking longer to flow through your body.
Yeah, it still does. The smoothie, the fiber, fiber is not a nutrient or anything. All it is helping you, pass. It's like just helping to concentrate and bring the food out and it go through the exit system. Okay, so when you think about fiber, think about something like kale, which I really don't consume kale because of how fibrous it is. Also because it's more to it, the acid in it.
They say kale is good for you.
Everybody's different. See, I had anemia, so there's certain vegetables or fruits that I won't eat. And that's why when I'm juicing, I need to know who you are. I need to know your makeup. I need to know, what you may be deficient in, because you might have malabsorption. Okay, so if you're eating certain fruits and vegetables and you may have a deficiency, and that fruit or vegetable could be the reason why you're consuming too much spinach or you're consuming too much kale or something that has oxalic acid in it.
Well, you told me on the phone, like, not to just do straight beets.
Well, yeah, you don't want to. I've been
hearing that for the high blood pressure. You know what I mean? They used to say everybody's beating you down, beets. So now I'm like, I'm looking for every beet under the sun.
But then we're doing it every day, and after a while, the body it's too much. It's too much, and you're not supposed to juice a whole beet. You juice a piece of a beet. You don't even need them. See, the one thing about fruits and vegetables and supplements, supplements can become toxic if you take too much of them. Sometimes you see the units, they're like 5,000 units.
Save that 1 second. What about when you've been eating bad for so damn long? That's the thing. I've been eating filthy for decades.
Right. So if you're juicing, that's a great start. I'm never going to tell people, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Juice.
Right.
Juice whatever you have in your fridge. Start juicing. Good. Get the chlorophyll in your system because that's going to give you the oxygen. It's going to give you the cobalamin, the B12. It's going to give you those things. You know what I'm saying? That we lack. Okay. Vitamin B helps us to get the energy from the nutrients that we, consume. So that's why a lot of us we lack that because we're not eating anything that's nutritious.
Okay.
Juice. That's the start.
Okay.
What you're doing is when you start juicing, just as you start feeling that spiritual awakening, is you're learning your body.
Okay.
You'll start to know what's good for you. You'll start to know what makes you feel good when you juice. You'll start to understand combinations. That's when you get deeper. I'm deep into this. So it's I always tell people, don't do what I do. Don't try to do what I do. I'm like, if I've been fasting for a long time, you can't just start fasting.
Fast. That's pass the hell out.
And that's what the 3-day fast is for. 3 days. It's just to get you started. When your body goes into that first round of like ketosis, and your body just it's like, oh wait, first I was eating up all the glucose in the body that you had left over, and now I'm recognizing you're just still not eating. So now I'm going to go into the glycogen stores, which is in the muscles, right? And so I'm pulling that out. And that's why I tell people to eat enough protein before we fast. Yeah, I was trying to give those signals.
Definitely.
You got to do,
I saw that. What they eat before you get ready for the juice.
Things like lentils, things like, certain beans and, whatever. You have to eat those things before. Certain nuts. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that your brain, and your body has enough of what it needs before. If you just eat carbs, that goes away. It's simple sugar.
Right.
But, olive oil, You know, put a little olive oil over your salad. You know what I'm
Somebody
saying?
said put lemon, just straight quarter
You can
lemon.
do key lime is even better. Lemon, olive oil, key lime, whatever you choose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With a little bit of Celtic salt or a healthier salt. You know, you have to be mindful of what you're using.
Right, because it's funny you said that because I started when I'm a smoker, to be honest to everybody, you know. So I say, you know what, I'm eating too many chips. What am I gonna do is substitute my snacking chips. So I started buying low sodium chips.
Okay.
Lying to myself.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm eating a whole bag of low sodium
Right.
chips.
See, them labels be messing you up too.
So thank you. Because I was caught up in that.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm only eating this, but then I realize I'm eating I'm doing almost 5 bags a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing as me eating a regular bag of Lay's chips because you still so much. So the guy, and I explained that to the guy, you know, at the health foods place when I was buying my detox, and he was like, yo, you're just supposed to have small portions of it.
That's it. Balance. It's all balance. It's all, even.
I said the best thing to do is don't buy the chips.
Don't buy the chips, but dang, if you want some chips, just buy a little bag.
Nah, I just don't buy the chips. I'm to the point, just don't buy the chips.
But you can get better chips. You can get kale chips. You can make, see, that's the one thing that my kids love kale chips. With the little nutritional yeast, another B12, you know. And
I don't know what to get. I would.
See, that's just, I can make it for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? If anything, that's the one thing that they'll eat that with kale. I don't, it's still balanced. You don't think everything in balance, you know, but they like that. They like the kale chips,
right.
Multi-grain chips. You can make your own chips, tortilla chips. It's not that, this stuff, it really isn't that hard and it's not that time consuming. If you plan. See, if you don't know what you're doing, that's where it gets hard.
Right. So for me, it was basically, yo, right now, the discipline was don't buy the chips.
Yeah.
Just eat the fruit.
I get it. Yeah, but you can't just eat fruit. I wouldn't suggest just
I mean, I'm saying that on my snacking instead of honey buns and Oreos and this. Just eat the fruit instead of eating all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Get you a nut trail mix and add a little like, vegan chocolates in it.
See?
I mean, you'll be surprised. You start eating with the craisins and the tart cherries, you know what I'm saying? And the nuts with it, and walnuts, real nuts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, eat those up. That's great for you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's giving you the fat that you need, the healthy fat, right?
Okay.
I make my kids drinks like hemp drinks. I do hemp seed. Okay. And strawberries. I do like a Nestle quick drink. And
fresh strawberries with no sugar.
Fresh or frozen organic strawberries, right?
Hey, is that frozen fruit shit any good for you that they're selling you?
Yeah, it's good. Listen, we're not on an island.
Okay.
We're not on an island.
I was curious.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to preserve those nutrients. And that's a part of the food science. You learn about preservation, which I love. I love that part because it teaches you how to package. It teaches you how they package the food and how it preserves the nutrients. Okay. So yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Okay.
You can't sit here and go, you can't do this, you can't do that. Life just, it sucks out of you. Like there's no more fun in it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that way. You know, I don't want to be that way.
Okay.
I want to enjoy life. I cook. I do all the vegan cooking, you know, or plant-based cooking, whatever you want to call it. And I do it, you know, joyfully. You know what I'm saying? I do it with love for my family because I know I'm giving them the 3 macronutrients: fat, you know, the lipids, protein, and carbs.
Okay.
When you cook, when you shop, you have to shop with that in mind. Am I giving them the 3 things that they need to be satisfied for the day?
Okay.
When you shop with intention. You go with a list. You don't just go hungry. You know what happens when you go hungry.
It becomes a shit show, excuse my language once again. But I really appreciate you sitting down with us and, you know, sharing these things with us. For me, it's just a blessing. You really don't even understand it. Nah, it truly is. And let's step in the kitchen and let's get some juices going.
All right, sounds good. We could do a little something.
Let's do a little something. So basically now we're in the kitchen.
Right.
And I'm going to leave the rest up to you. queen.
All
The
right,
juices.
cool. So thank you.
Before we start, I'm curious. I saw you spraying this on the vegetables.
Right.
On the
So
fruits.
I mean, sometimes this stuff could be expensive. You can buy apple cider vinegar. If you have key limes, you know, I know limes are hard to find. If you got lemons,
Okay.
you can just soak your vegetables and fruits in that with a little baking soda. If you don't have like a cleanser like this, all natural, plant based.
Where would you get that
Vegan.
from?
They have this stuff at like Shopper. Usually, if you go into the supermarket, they always have a fruit wash somewhere close.
Okay,
You know,
that's good to know.
so you can. I don't normally use this. I normally use my own mixtures that I make. But listen, you just want to rinse it because you got to think about how far your produce has been traveling. We
Okay.
don't think about that, and we just
Nah,
rinse it.
Just rinse it and
with
get
water.
it going.
Right. So you
So
want
this
to.
doesn't affect your system or anything either.
No, not if it's plant based. You know, you have to be mindful of the ingredients, and it actually gives you an option to look and see what's inside.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't, like I said, always use this. I use apple cider vinegar. I use baking soda. I use key limes or
Okay.
lemons.
Okay.
You know, and you soak for, you know, and you don't want to soak everything for a long period of time.
Okay.
You know, so this you want to rinse off, you know, quickly. No more than 30 seconds, right?
Okay. So we doing cucumber.
We're doing cucumber. We're gonna do our pineapple. And I love pineapple and pineapple is good to have like before you go to bed because it has something called bromelain in it.
Okay.
Okay, so
Good
certain
to know.
compounds in it is gonna help to break up the food that you were eating. Like even like papaya is good to have before you rest.
What about the papaya drink?
Yeah, papaya. What do you mean from like Gray's papaya? You talking about? Like, come on now, you know, there's a lot of sugar in that. Like,
Well, I'm talking about the can of papaya that you make in the supermarket.
I don't know, but I have to see the ingredients.
Okay. Okay.
Anything, that's why you juice at home, because you know what's in it. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Most things carry a lot of white sugar, even cane sugar. So sugar.
Sugar.
And if you
sugar,
see
yeah.
the way they process sugar, you really, with the bleach, you really,
Yeah, I saw that process. It's out there.
you saw it, right? So when you're juicing, you want to start off, you want to get some nice bowls, you know, get you some bowls. Want to make sure you have a nice sharp knife. Okay, because the worst thing that you could do when you're juicing is not have a good knife. You want a knife that you don't have to worry about when you're chopping. Okay, because it's irritating when you don't have what you need to work properly. It will discourage you. You know,
That's the problem
from
I
juicing.
was having. Like,
Right. And next thing you want to make sure you have is a good cutting board. You always want to use wood.
okay.
Okay, because when you chop with plastic, when you're chopping down, right, this is the way you hold a knife, right?
Right.
Chopping with plastic, that plastic is going right into here. So whatever, you know what I mean? Like you're cutting that up and it's going into your food.
Mm.
So you want to use wood.
Okay.
And when you clean it, you can clean it with things like apple cider vinegar to get
Okay.
the impurities out if there are any. And never mix, you know, cross-contaminate your cutting boards.
Okay.
All right. So I'm trying to do this like the best way without, you know, I am using romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce is really good for you. You can use things like dandelion greens. You know, and if you notice, we talked about this before. If you notice that your greens are not, they're like a little wilted, you can always blanch them and put them in a nice, you know, cool tub of water, and they'll like stiffen right back
Okay.
up. Okay? Keeps them, preserves them. That way you don't waste your greens when you see that they're a little wilted, because things are expensive and we can't just throw stuff out. So the thing about juicing, you can't just juice anything. I'm not putting a banana in my juicer. Okay? Put a banana in your juicer, you're gonna get sludge, you know. And so certain mixtures together are really good because they're gonna combine the moisture and then that fiber together, and then they'll process and blend better.
Okay.
All right, so we got our, you know what? I wanna put this in my bowl over here for a minute so I can chop this pineapple. Not allergic to anything, right?
Nah, just eggs.
Okay. Are you allergic to eggs? Or you just don't like eggs?
I don't like them, so I fake like I'm allergic to them.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. So the thing about
Not to cut you off before we go. Why
Yeah.
this combination? What's this combination? Like, what does it kind of?
this is one of my drinks called Cactus Quencher.
Okay.
The pineapple and the cucumber, and it's all about hydration.
Okay.
Okay, like cucumber is like 95%, 96% water, and we lack. You know, a lot of us are dehydrated.
Right.
A lot of us, we have so much debris in our brain, you know, in our bodies, and we need to hydrate in order to assimilate those nutrients.
Okay.
So we want to try to do things that are kind of replenishing and are gonna help to pass other nutrients in the body. Otherwise, they just stay,
Right.
you know. So I love doing pineapples, and I love cucumber. Cucumbers, like I just eat cucumbers on its own. Put it in my water in the morning with cayenne, and we talked about that cayenne, key lime, and cucumber, and a little bit of sea salt.
Okay.
Okay, so that's like amazing. I hope I don't know how to stand.
Listen, we'll figure it out. You know.
Yeah. So when I do like orders and stuff like that, I usually use like commercial kitchen. I use my Good Nature machine because it's a true cold press machine. This is slow masticating. And so what that means is it's breaking the food down as opposed to those centrifugal juicers where it's like, you go to the store, quick juice, there's a lot of foam at the top. Right. So that's the difference. This is actually going to break the food down as if you're chewing it with the enzymes in your mouth.
Okay.
So this is why I love this version. My juice is a little beat up now because
Listen, it's doing what it's supposed to
I
do.
use it so much. I hope it turns on me because I don't know who had it on last. So let me fix it. Technical difficulty.
Nah, it's good.
So this is actually good to see too because
Right.
a lot of people don't know the different parts of a juicer. Okay, so snap it in, click it in, and
Bless you.
bless you. Okay. This one has a little short in it. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine my romaine and my pineapples first. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the cucumber in after. And it's just because of this has a lot of fiber in it. And sometimes the pineapples could get caught.
Okay.
All right. So you can just dump everything in there. Literally, you can throw this is like one of the greatest juicers. And I'm not trying to do a commercial for them.
But you're being honest because.
But it's really a good juicer, and it takes all the time and stress away from juicing. You know. One thing I love about this is you can just put it all in.
Okay.
And let it run on its own. And normally. So typically I have a way that I like to juice. I set up all my fruits and vegetables. I clean them first. Then I chop it up. And I get to work. I'm juicing for hours when I do orders, you know. And at the same time, I always set aside my juice while I'm juicing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been living this lifestyle for
Yeah.
quite a long time. Mm-hmm. What is the end goal?
I like that.
'Cause I feel like, not to cut you off, but I feel like everything you're doing, music, being a mother, being a voice, spiritual, what is this, what's the end goal for you behind all this?
I like that question. I think the end goal for me is to bring as many people as I can to the same place of peace.
Okay.
It really is about finding that peace.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to honestly be on an island where I can produce my own food and farm and
Right.
you know.
That's why I asked that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what you would love to do.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to be there. And
in time.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it because everything is working the way it needs to work.
Right.
You know.
And that's the beauty of it all. You know, the thing that impressed me about your answer was you said something I've been speaking about to my fellas and just in general, peace, having peace.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very important at this point in time in life.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us are running around here who don't have peace. And we don't have peace. A lot of things are not going the way you want to, not going the way they need to go because you don't have that peace first.
Yeah.
And it's funny that the juicing and your lifestyle brings you that peace.
It brings me that peace.
That's dope.
It brings me all the way peaceful. Like I said, like I, made some wild decisions in my past.
Wild the juicing.
Yeah, like it's who I am. It's life, you know, my choices with people, and they made me who I am. Like I don't have a regret in my soul. You know what I'm saying? Now the focus is raising my children to become the people that I know that they're gonna be, that they can be, instilling that in them and having them choose better options of who's around them. You know, as you get older, the people start to dwindle. You know, who hangs around, who stays to see you succeed.
Well, you start to dwindle away from them.
It's I think more so
they
drop from you.
I can
drop
understand
from
that.
you. And I say that because it gets too much because then people start to see who they are through you. You know what I'm saying? And I've had luckily the same friends since I was a little girl.
Okay.
Same people around me. Everybody knows my people.
Right.
You know, I used to have parties in the backyard and same people come through.
Right.
You know, and they're all successful. They're all doing their thing. You know, we can't focus on what everybody else is doing because it's all inner work that we got to do for ourselves. Right. You know, and I'm every day, like when I get mad at my kids a certain way, the next day I'm like, I'm gonna do this better. You know, I'm not gonna scream today. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? So it brings you peace because you got the nutrients that you need in your body. I can't stress it enough. When you lack nutrients, you can't think. You don't have clarity. You don't have peace of mind. You can't make sound decisions if you're eating crap. If you're drinking a Mountain Dew that's got the amount of sugar is probably about this high.
I mean, we're not getting to the soda like I was.
But I can make you a soda. I can make you a soda with a little key lime juice, a little agave. You know what I mean? Carbonated water. You can buy your own carbonated, water machine. You know, and that's it. That's pure juice. Now, if you're diabetic, you don't want to eat certain things that are so high in sugar. You want to kind of make it a little bit loose. You can add water to it.
Why they say use coconut water?
Because it has electrolytes in it.
Okay.
Same thing with adding sea salt or adding key lime.
Why not just use why not use a coconut?
You can use a coconut.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. I had the coconuts over here a minute ago. I buy fresh coconut.
Where do you get coconuts from?
You can anywhere. A lot of those stores like in like certain neighborhoods where the stores are kind of beat down, I
go to the farmer's market in Hackensack.
They have a lot of stuff. Yeah, they should have it.
I look. I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
I never thought about just breaking the coconut down.
Yeah, get you a machete. Yeah, and start drinking as natural as possible. Tamarind juice is good for you too.
Okay.
I actually I have a big picture of it in the fridge.
All right, my question for you is, would you mix alcohol with juicing?
So I don't really drink.
I'm not saying you.
Alcohol.
I'm not saying you because we know you. But for those that always I'm not going to say always. I'm going to be realistic about it because I kind of understand, because sometimes I find myself, when I was doing smoothies, I may put a little shot in there.
Yeah.
So I won't indulge in drinking that much alcohol.
Right.
But I feel like I was kind of like lying, because you're drinking liquor, but you're trying to be healthy. Like, what are we doing here? You're playing the game. Let's talk about these two before we get into that.
Oh, okay.
Let's get into this purple label thing.
So this is hibiscus. This is sour.
Oh, I don't even know what this is.
It's a flower.
I'm just gonna be honest. No, I'm not gonna front. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a flower, and it's like, it's like, I think Central Asia, one of the countries that you see it, cultivated the most. And so I do my little mixture. I'm not gonna tell you my ingredients, but I add Ceylon. I add Ceylon cinnamon in it, and to bring out the flavor even more. And there's no cinnamon to use but Ceylon cinnamon. Just so everybody knows, it's one of the most healthiest besides the other ones that you see. So just look out for that. So this is one of my regular juice drinks on my site. And then my Blue Spirulina. This is probably my top seller for like a juice drink, And I say that because it is filtered water and it does have a little bit of agave in it. This is Blue Spirulina. I call it Blue Citrus.
Okay.
This is called Shiny Rose.
Okay.
So hopefully you'll be seeing this one soon somewhere. We'll talk about that another time.
No, we will.
Add a little more juice there. Yeah, so these are like, I'm gonna stop this for a minute. But those are my top juice drinks. And like just natural. Just you can make your own juice. You don't have to go to the store and purchase that pasteurized juice that's heated. It really doesn't make sense, because you could just buy a bag of lemons, a bag of limes, and you can get a little presser. You don't have to buy an expensive juicer, and just press it, add a little agave, a little water, and that's it. That's your juice. Okay. That's one of the first things that I feel like we should change, instead of the sodas, or instead of buying juices for our kids, because that's where it all starts.
Yeah.
I buy them Kamut Puffs for breakfast as opposed to cereal. Kamut Puffs, called Kamut.
Never heard of it. I got a granddaughter, so I'm curious.
Okay, so protein. Okay. First thing in the morning, you should have protein.
Okay. Okay,
because it's gonna last you throughout the day. I think people hear a lot of times you should have carbohydrates, but protein is gonna sustain you. Okay. If you are gonna have some carbs, grab some fruit. That's fine. But simple sugar is gonna be digested quickly. You're gonna be hungry again, right? Protein is gonna last you a little bit longer.
Okay.
Okay, so like a protein milkshake would be something like hemp seeds. You could add a little bit of vanilla, and with the seeds and the water, that kind of turns into a milk.
Okay.
Okay, add some dates and some sea salt in there, pea protein, and that's a hemp drink.
Okay.
Things like that in the morning for the kids is with a banana in it.
Okay.
Kill it. A frozen banana. Oh my God. Like frozen banana. Okay. To make banana ice cream, put a whole bunch of frozen bananas in the freezer the night before. Get a great juicer, a great blender, blend it up, add a little bit of whatever you want on top, vanilla or whatever it is. Try to get real vanilla bean, which is, it's not easy to get, or it's expensive, but you want to try to create easy meals for your kids. Easy meals, so long as they're doing pasta and pasta sauce, right? That's giving you the amino acids that you need, the protein that you need. Okay, it's a healthy combination. Even rice and beans, you can switch it to wild rice and beans. Navy beans are great. There's just certain small steps that you can take. You don't have to spend a lot of money doing these extravagant things with the jackfruit and you see now, and banana blossoms. And it's wonderful, but nobody has time to do that every single day. It takes a lot of prep to do that.
Right.
You don't have to do that, but jackfruit is a great substitute for like, chicken, for those that like chicken. What else is a great? I use, what else do I use besides jackfruit? Breadfruit, I use a lot of beans, a lot of mushrooms. Mushrooms is my favorite.
I love mushrooms.
That's wonderful because wild mushrooms, they have a lot of vitamin D, which is something that our people we lack because of our skin and the melanin in our skin. It actually blocks the sunlight from absorbing properly. And so the thing about vitamin D is it processes differently in our body. It takes a while to synthesize. It's not just an instant goes into the skin and that's it. You know, so that's why we struggle with it because we have this protective skin, which is amazing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So I do want you to try the juice.
Please,
so let me get a quick strainer. Sorry, I didn't have it over here before. Yeah, things like mushrooms is like what?
Mushroomed out.
Mushrooms is amazing, man. Let me get a.
Not the canned ones though. What about the canned ones that say unsalted?
There's canned mushrooms?
Yeah, I bought canned mushrooms. Said unsalted.
I don't know nothing about no canned mushroom. I know cream of mushroom. Cream of mushroom soup. Nah, you want wild mushrooms. You want like I don't particularly like lion's mane. But I know that it's good for you. I love portobello mushrooms. I love chanterelles. I love oyster mushrooms.
Yeah, somebody was telling me about the oyster
mushrooms. I mean, you could do a lot with some oyster mushrooms. That's what I was thinking about before, the oyster mushrooms. You can do so much with it. I made my mother like a chicken sandwich with oyster mushrooms, and she was sold. You know.
Yeah, I'm sold on mushrooms.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's half the battle. You got to know what you like when you go out to shop. You got to know what you like. All right, so I'm gonna give you some juice to taste. Let's see, people are like, you could juice romaine lettuce, you could juice romaine, you could juice a red onion.
I forgot about
cabbage.
The lettuce and the cabbage.
Yeah. Dandelion greens, tomatoes.
I love tomatoes.
Yeah, you can juice all of that. You can, red peppers. You know, bell peppers have a lot of vitamin C. So, bell peppers. And I gotta pour the cameraman some too.
Of course. Wow, this is amazing. Just from that.
Just from that.
Dang, this is it. This is like juice.
It's juice.
Better than buying
juice. Because this is fructose. This is natural sugar.
Damn, I'm sold on this. Cucumbers, lettuce.
That's it.
And pineapple.
That's it. And now, like I said, you can cut it with water if you have diabetes. I would stay away from certain melons because it's a lot of sugar. But if you, you know, see, he killed that.
Wow, that was amazing.
You want some more?
Let my guy get some.
You want some? All right.
Wow. Sheesh.
These little cups. Sorry, let me give you a little mug. So this is what I try to do for my kids every morning. And I do this.
So you could pour the rest in there for me.
Yeah, sure.
Don't even let it go to waste.
Nothing goes to waste in his house. There you go.
This is official. This is really official. I don't even want to buy no juice no more.
No, you shouldn't. All you need is a good juicer. That's it. One juice a day will help to reduce the risk of having chronic disease or illness. There's 60%, 6 out of 10 people in America have one chronic disease. And 40%, there's 2 diseases. 40% of people have 2 chronic illnesses. And you think about those numbers, like how high that is.
Wow. This was amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
doubt.
Listen, man, we've been blessed today. I'm kind of speechless on this because this is a blessing in disguise for me personally. And the opportunity and the transition that I'm going into my life with juicing. And to be sitting with you today, thank you so much. I appreciate us allowing us in your home. Before we close, you want to tell anybody where they can find you, where they can reach you.
Of course.
And I'm gonna let you close it out.
I want y'all to try your juices too.
Oh,
Whenever you get, I mean, I know that was like super, like, that was a potent drink right there. So you can take it with you if you want.
Now I'm gonna check. Listen.
I know, it's like after drinking that, I don't know if the sweetness is gonna. But that's the blue spirulina. That's blue citrus. It's called.
Wow. 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 This is it. Please let them.
All right.
Talk to the people.
So thank you for having me. I really, your pleasure. So Wild the Juices on Instagram, everything is Wild the Juices. My website is Wild the Juices.
It's purple.
You like that one?
Wow.
That's the hibiscus, like sorrow, yeah. But www.wildthejuices.com. You can order 3-day cleanses. You can order juices. We could work on that meal prep as well. I am working on a juice grocery list, digital grocery list, and an ebook is coming out really soon. So I'm super excited about that. You will be seeing my juices somewhere soon. So I'm really excited about that too. I'm just speaking everything into existence. That's what you do, right? But check out, my Instagram, Wild the Juices. Follow me and bring your friends along. Because if you want to fast, this is where you start. You start with 3 days. You start slowly, and you just, improve your life every time. I promise you.
Listen, you heard it first. The queen. Listen, I'm speechless. I'm blessed. What she has going on. Please, let's tune in. Let's lock in. Let's support. Let's grow together. Let's get healthy. It's the voice of the culture. Y'all stay blessed. We out of here. Love. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.